Good morning,
Morning.
Director General Elliot Wang, and who is the Director General of the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office, Atlanta. Director Wang, welcome to GAT Conversation. You have arrived in Atlanta for your posting last July, and the world has shifted due to the COVID-19 pandemic outbreak. Share with us and our audience about yourself and your first impression of Atlanta when you arrived.
So it's good to be here with you today. Okay, before I came to Atlanta, actually I arrived here 3 months ago. Okay, it's July this year. And before that, I was in Taipei, and I used to be posted in Washington, D.C. for 6 years, and also another 6 years in Brussels. Okay. And when I was in those two overseas posts, I did a liaison with the U.S. Congress. I also had the same experience dealing with the European Parliament and also EU Commission. I also did the bilateral relations with Belgium and Luxembourg when I was in those two posts. And when I was in Taipei, I was assigned to do the public diplomacy, and also have some the young diplomats training job.
That's great. And you seem to be very well-rounded. And when you first came here, what do you think of Atlanta?
Well, actually, this is my first time in this region. Even though this is the second time I'm back in the United States, but this is a very different area for me. Actually, I realized there is a big contrast between what I saw on the highway and also on the street. It's always a lot of cars running on the highway here, just like we have in Taiwan. But on the street, it's very quiet, and I realize it's also very green city. Okay, and people are very friendly, and this is a very diverse place for me.
Excellent. Well, you probably will enjoy more of the southern hospitality, as we call it here, you know.
I really hope so. I really hope the pandemic will end pretty soon.
Yeah. So, Director General, what are your major milestones that you wish to accomplish during your first year here?
Okay. I could be very ambitious, but due to the pandemic problem, I'm not sure if I can achieve that goal. But the priority I would like to see to be achieved is the bilateral trade agreements between the U.S. and Taiwan to be negotiated as soon as possible. Okay. Basically, my job here is to share as many as people about Taiwan's as a democratic and economic success story, the so-called Taiwan model. Okay. So in the future, my office will keep people in this region updated about the most interesting things that happened between the U.S. and Taiwan. So that's why I brought our foreign minister about 2 weeks ago to deliver a speech to ACIR. He was talking about the importance and the benefits for Taiwan and the U.S. industry if we start negotiating a BTA between the two sides. So I would say to persuade the people here, to those government officials in industries or media, to support this bilateral trade agreement between our two sides, and to start a negotiation as soon as possible would be my priority.
That's great. Sounds like you have a lot on your plate already in your assignment here. Taiwan has received a lot of international recognitions and accolades for its effort in containing the COVID-19. And the U.S. Secretary of Health, James Azar, has recently visited Taiwan to better understand your government's strategy. And what constructive result came out of the visit pertaining to COVID-19?
Okay, first of all, when Secretary Azar was in Taiwan, both sides signed a MOU to declare a cooperation on the vaccine research and also the efficient the COVID-19 tests and also the information exchange regarding the pandemic. But I would say that the biggest and the constructive outcome of this visit is that United States recognize the so-called Taiwan model. The Taiwan government can prevent this pandemic from spreading over in Taiwan so successfully. So the U.S. government sent Secretary Azar to Taiwan to recognize our achievement and also to show the U.S. government's support for Taiwan's international participation in organizations such as WHO or United Nations. And because of this trip, it also led to another senior officials from U.S. government to visit Taiwan not long ago, about two weeks ago, who was the Undersecretary in charge of the economic growth, Secretary Crutch. So these two senior members visiting Taiwan, they are the most senior cabinet members have visited Taiwan since 1917. So it says a lot.
That's great. Specifically, pertaining to Georgia, what are your plans and goals for strengthening the relationship between Taiwan, Georgia, economic relation?
Okay. I would like to share with everyone that actually Taiwan is a very, very potential market with big investment power, okay, toward foreign markets. Taiwan is about just the size of Maryland with 23 million people. And I would like to share with you one interesting example, okay, to show how powerful the Taiwanese consumers can be. You know the Costco?
Yes.
There are 13 Costco stores in Taiwan. And Costco actually is the last hyper warehouse chain entering into Taiwan back in 2000. So it's quite late. Okay. But now on, we already have 12 or 13 stores over there. Okay. And 3 out of those stores in Taiwan ranked top 10 stores around the world for Costco in terms of the revenue, annual revenue. So you can see how potential the consuming power over there. So this is I'd like to share with everyone that and encourage the Georgian government to consider to set up a trade representative or a trade office over there to look for more trade business for Georgian state government. And then, in the other hand, I would like to share with you is that actually the World Taiwanese Chamber of Commerce just had their new chairman, okay, and this chairman is from Atlanta. So I would like to work closely with this gentleman in the future, and under this umbrella, we hope we can talk more frequently with the Georgian government to see how we can increase the trade and economic cooperations together.
Does that also extend to small business and small medium enterprise entrepreneurs?
Of course, we will basically focus on those industry that both sides are both emphasizing right now, such as fintech, the bioscience, or smart city, 5G, etc.
That's great. And Taiwan has traditionally been very strong in the green environment movement. I'm sure there's also a lot of opportunities there for that type of technology to be explored and to be partnered with.
Yes.
That's great. Atlanta has been the sister city of Taipei for a longest time. What area of cooperation do you wish to focus in the near future between Taipei and Atlanta that you think can benefit mutually?
I think trade issue is always important to everyone. So this is the first priority I would like to promote. I would like to work with the city government and also the Metro Atlanta Chamber of Commerce, because last year we facilitated a MOU signed by the Taipei Import and Export Association and Metro Atlanta Council. I think this is a very good umbrella framework. We can work together to promote the trade relations with Atlanta. Other than that, I would like to see more exchanges of the young people between the two sides, and also the cultural activities, and also more tourists from both sides.
Interesting. So, Director General, can you update our audience as far as the COVID-19 travel restriction in and out from Taiwan with US, from US?
Well, right now, as I know, for those people who are necessarily entering into Taiwan, we shorten the period of time for their isolation to 5 days, from 15 days to 5 days. But of course, before you enter Taiwan, you have to show the evidence that you have you have no problem with the COVID-19. You have to give us the report within 3 weeks before you go to Taiwan.
So any interested parties that are planning to visit Taiwan will have to bring their COVID-19 test result to your consular office here in applying the visa in order to get permission to enter.
Yes.
Okay, that's very good. In your duty as a Director General, it must be very, very hectic and very, very stressful. So how do you relax day to day?
Well, basically, I enjoy good food. So whenever I feel tired, I always feel relaxed. Get home, having a good meal with my family, and with some good bottle of wine. Okay, that's because I'm the wine connoisseur, so I quite enjoy good food and good wine. Other than that, I also like watch movie and have some reading. And I also like to listen the violin music. Actually, I also play a little bit violin, but not very good. But basically, I spend a lot of time to listen to my violin music.
That's great. I'm sure because of the COVID-19 restriction, you are unable to travel throughout Georgia and neighboring states. So far, what are the states that you have managed to visit in your short time here?
Honestly, I don't have any plan yet.
Oh.
Because even though I don't have many public activity schedules right now, but I can still be very busy for the domestic affairs, or the conversations between our office and Taipei.
Interesting. President Taiwan administration recently viewed that there is a huge strategic shift between the relationship between US and China and whatever is happening on the COVID-19 pandemic. And the administration view it as an opportunity to position Taiwan as a critical force in the realignment of the global supply chain. Director General, can you please elaborate on that?
Well, as everyone knows that Taiwan is a very important and the main supplier for the US ICT industry. But unfortunately, 80% of those supplies are made in China, okay, conducted by the Taiwanese company. So when we are talking about we want to realign this global supply chain, I think definitely Taiwan is going to play a very big player. We have to remove a lot of supply chain from mainland China, okay, and it goes with the U.S. Strategy. Okay. And I think the big companies in Taiwan, as you know, the TSMC, the Taiwan
Semiconductor.
TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, is the leading semiconductor chips company in the world. I think these Taiwanese big companies, they knew this in advance. So that's why TSMC announced its investment in Arizona, okay, amount to around $12 billion US. And about 2 years ago, Foxconn, another big name from Taiwan, also announced its investment in Wisconsin, amount to $10 billion US. Okay, and I was told actually this first half of the year, there are a couple of dozens of Taiwanese companies looking for the market in the United States.
And potentially Georgia too.
Of course, as long as the Georgia government provide enough incentives for this Taiwanese company, they are definitely coming. Yeah. And in the other hand, Taiwanese companies are also very familiar with the market in the Southeast Asia, okay, because the southbound policy from Taiwan government try to devise the investment from China into the Southeast Asia. And now we are confident to say that the Taiwanese company are also having a very good networking and a supply chain over there. So I think that this is also why Taiwan can play so important role in this process of the global supply chain realignment.
Interesting. Well, I ran out of questions, and you seems to have the perfect answers for everything I asked this morning. And thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule to have this conversation with Georgia Asian Times. And I wish you the best in your endeavor and your stay here during your assignment as Director General. And the community looks forward to meeting you when the COVID-19 pandemic is under a little more control. And again, thank you very much.
I also look forward to see everyone in person very soon. Thank you very much.